welcome to the JTrain podcast. It's JTrain, Jared Free, coming live from the West Village of Manhattan. We're here every Monday with your emails, your stories, your questions. I say it every episode. Let me say it again. Thank you. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. I've been doing this podcast for legitimately a decade. So some of you have been here since the beginning. Some of you got here later. You are the fuel that makes this engine go, the JTrain, if we stay in the metaphor of the name. You are the reason the JTrain stays on the tracks and heads towards the next week and the next location. I'm already off the rails of this metaphor, but thank you. Thank you for being a part of this show and making it your Instagram story and sharing and saying any nice thing about it that you've ever said. I really do appreciate it. This is kind of the... of all the things I do, it always comes back to this podcast. It always comes back to talking directly to you, which is an amazing, cool thing that can only happen in 2023. So, again, this is a long-winded thank you because we haven't been in studio lately. Shelby, we're back. If you're on YouTube, you can watch on YouTube land. We're here in Feather Nation Studios here in the West Village. I got shows. I'm on the road. I'm on the road big time with a whole new hour. I'd say it's a new 40 right now that I'm getting to the hour. Like every day we get closer and closer, but it's all jokes about my family, as crazy as that sounds. It's been fun to do. I've had families in the crowd that love it. If your parents, if you don't, I don't want to tell you it's a clean set. It's not clean. It is a little weird to sit next to your parents for certain parts, but not that weird. I don't know. My parents saw 20 minutes of it and they were dying and they loved it. So, and it's about them. So, which is kind of crazy, but I'm on the road and I'm doing some theaters. We have just announced, tickets are on sale. Shelby, do you have my calendar in front of you? We got, coming up is Stamford, Connecticut this weekend. So that's been on sale for a long time. And then we got Lexington, Raleigh. But then what else is on there? Shelby from the Great Beyond. I don't have it in front of me. What's that? Oh, it opened. So Atlanta, Seattle, Long Island, Boston. What am I missing here? Charlotte, D.C., Baltimore, Lexington. So and San Diego. It's all Atlanta. Atlanta's a big one because that's going to be a big space. Huntington, that's in Long Island. So jaredfree.com. What's that? Seattle, and then there's going to be a Portland date. I'm going to be doing Helium near Seattle, or in Portland. So go to jaredfree.com for the tickets. Get involved with that. Other than that, again, thank you, and send your emails. We always need JTrain emails because we want depthy, juicy emails. Today's emails, fantastic. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Very excited for today's guest. New to the podcast, new to the JCU, the JTrain Cinematic Universe. New to me. This is our first time meeting. Django Gold, thank you for coming on.
Hello, JTrain. Hello, JTrain Cateers.
Thank you.
You have a name for your listeners?
The Trainiacs. No, we never really had. No, that would be off the top of my head. The JTrain Cateers.
Yeah.
I like it because
passengers.
The passengers.
We want to keep the metaphor going.
Yeah, keep on the metaphor. Now, it's funny because you reached out to me, which I appreciate. I always appreciate a reach out. Someone saying, I got you. You have a special that's going to be coming out in August.
That's right.
I've heard your name around before.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific name that I'm sure you can't get around.
Were you shocked when I first walked in the door and it was just like another white guy with glasses?
No, I looked you up.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, were you shocked when you looked me up and it was just another white guy with glasses?
I was like, why? You know what I thought? Your name is Django Gold. And my only, as most people, their only relation to the name Django is Django Unchained, that's the Tarantino movie that's about slavery. So you go, and it's interesting where your brain goes, because let's admit to our animal brain,
We all have biases.
Because my thing is is this guy, in this world of this political world that we live in, that everything's so separated and so, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bipartisan.
Right. You go, okay, there's a comedian going by Django. I'm assuming he's either He's like this alt-right asshole.
Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. Rise up, train coutiers. No.
So that's not you.
That's not me. No.
So let's get out front.
Harry-o.
Well, because there's a business being made out of being extreme, no matter right or left.
And
There's
business is booming.
right, and for comedians, we see that every day.
Yeah, I know.
You see that person that you used to know do certain bits, and they were wacky and crazy. Then the next week, they're like, "Yeah, I don't know. There should be no government at all." And you're like, "Where did you come from?"
And we could be talking about any comedian here, to be specific, clear. No one in specific. I'm sure we're all thinking of certain.
Well, your brain goes to whoever you think of. There are so many people living
Yeah.
in the land of extreme.
Yeah.
And then like when someone's like Jared, what do you talk about? I talk about things I care about.
Sure.
I talk about my dad, being my dad. Like I do care about the arguments we have. To other people, they go, well, that's not important.
Yeah.
What about the struggles in society? I'm like, I don't know. That's not my thing. You know.
But then on the other side of the coin, it's like, well, what's important to you? Pepe the Frog owning a crying lib, drinking woke tears. Like, I don't know if that's important to them either.
It's not. I think they're faking it to make a business.
That's always been my suspicion, that these guys are just like so craven and have no beliefs, that they just like, this is working. So
right, and they get, what happens is, and again, this is like you get a retweet. It happens on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I think TikTok is the best example. TikTok, someone does take politics away from it. They do the video where they're the person who plays the drums or whatever, and someone goes, "Whoa, I love your drum video," and now they're only drum guy.
Yeah,
they hit the algorithm, they hit it hard.
Sure.
And we see comedians who do this. They make one joke that's like a little, right of center, and then they're like, "Wow, it's working! Look at the response it got."
Sure.
I'm gonna go now. I'm Django Gold for some unknown reason, but your name is Django Gold because you said your parents were like hippies and loved this band.
Hippie beatniks. I was named after Django Reinhardt, who's like a gypsy. Can I say gypsy still?
I think okay. Shelby gave a thumbs up.
Itinerant Romani jazz guitar player from like the 20s, 30s era. And my parents were like crazy hippie beatniks. So it was me, Django the eldest, my younger sister, California. Ooh.
Your younger sister's California.
Yeah, so it's like just like, hippie commune vibes. It's
Right, like you're like what's her name's kids from Forrest Gump. Like I feel like you're Jenny's kids.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
I feel like Jenny would have a kid named California, kid named Django.
A lot of similarities to my father too. Come to think of it now. It's kind of funny because like I had like this hippie upbringing. I think like we all kind of tend to automatically rebel against whatever upbringing is.
Right.
So my rebellion has like become like a total square.
You're Alex P. Keaton.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Oh shit! Someone already did that.
Right.
Fuck. God damn it.
Well,
Okay.
it's funny because I see your name and I go, "Oh, who's this guy?"
Sure,
You
sure.
do the and as. Again, back to the animalistic. You go into like "fuck you" mode.
Sure.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
By
I go
default.
to your page and at Django Gold on Instagram.
Django Industries.
At Django Industries on Instagram.
Fucker took the Django and Django Gold handles.
That's even crazier. So at Django Industries on Instagram, and all your stuff is hilarious. It's so funny. It's great. And
Thanks, man.
I text Anthony DeVito, good friend, a friend of the pod, and I go, and it's just a simple question: is he cool? Will he be fun?
Yes.
And he goes, hilarious. Good guy. So I was like,
Thank you,
done.
Anthony.
And when you have, and to me, that's how this whole thing kind of works. Where, cool guy, funny. Okay, bring him on.
That's how you avoid getting fucked with by some other Django Gold coming in, just like. Let me tell you about affirmative action, listeners.
Right.
And all your listeners are scandalized by So it's good that we have good guys out there like Anthony,
right?
Keeping us all in check.
This is why you have this. Your reputation precedes you. You're gonna if someone when you ask someone about someone, and I think that's like the hard part of like letting your reputation get out there. You hope for the best. I've never done anything wrong by anyone by my standard. You hope that kind of works for everybody. So I'm pumped to have you.
Have you ever gotten? Has that process of checks and balances ever failed, and you had some guy or girl land in the seat and just like go off crazy on the podcast?
No, I know
Mike Racine, for example.
Mike Racine being one of them. No, Racine, it failed because Racine was the one that asking.
Yeah, sure.
No, he was the one I went to for the review of Mike Racine.
He's your godfather,
right?
Not to could be anything that wasn't going at any certain race there.
I love Mike, but I will say, when you have someone come on the show, it's like, okay, what's the back and forth going to be?
Yeah.
And also, like, there's a Seinfeld quote of a certain type that I'm going to fuck up, but like Seinfeld, I don't have it word for word, but like he was like, when you meet another comedian, you have so much in common right away.
Yeah.
You've bombed, you've done well, you got a notebook in your back pocket. Like there's things in common that you don't have with anyone else.
It's like what theater did you serve in? Like what war were you in?
Right.
Like, you know,
veterans.
I think it was either Seinfeld or Chris Rock. It was like there's like the anecdote where it's like if you're at a party and you're having an agonizing time and you see someone across the room as a comedian, you go, oh, thank God, a comedian. Because no matter what, even if it's not like a buddy or anything, it's someone you can vibe with on a certain level. You know?
Right. You can find the commiseration in that person.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm pumped to have you on.
Thanks, man.
At Django Industries, Django Gold is here. Go get involved, go follow. Super funny. You got great videos and stuff, and
Thanks,
it's going to
man.
be all over my social media.
Hell yeah.
And what's your, where are you from? You said you grew up in a hippie household.
I'm from Northern California, but I spent like half my childhood in Northern California, half in like rural Illinois, like town of like 1,600, you know?
Okay.
So like a little bit of each, but I
1,600? What do you mean?
like population of 1,600.
Oh, really?
Like tiny corn town.
What brought you from Northern Cali? This is a Northern California look to me.
Yeah.
To me,
Totally.
like the shirt, earth tones,
Yeah.
the button-up shirt. Like it's a look that I like. I'm jealous of. I don't think I've ever been laid back enough for the look.
It's definitely a false laid backness. I'm like coiled with anxiety at all times, so I try to project like this cool LL Bean look.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of debating because it's hot as shit out there.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wear shorts, right? That's unprofessional. This is the JTrain podcast,
Right.
So I'm suffering in these long fucking khaki
It is
type.
funny what comedians feel is professional versus unprofessional. We have this weird thing about shorts on stage.
But then he can go up there like, my mom's pussy. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, pants.
Right. I got the pants on.
Yeah.
This is all kosher. Yeah. I understand that because someone once asked me, they're like, you can't wear shorts on stage. And I was like, just the look. And then there's this other thing. There are comedians that do wear shorts on stage and you're like, yeah, but they look like a shorts guy. So it's okay.
Sure. Yeah. If you have the Tommy Bahama shirt and like, the fucking Sammy Hagar beard goatee, that's fine. But
right. You're good with shorts.
I could not do that. My knobby little knees. Ugh.
Yeah. You're a long beanstalk. You got to go pants. Yeah.
I'm getting a little my stock's getting a little thicker as I age, Jared.
You look good to me, Django.
Thanks,
Listen, we're going to get to the emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. I'm pumped to have you here. This is awesome. We're sponsored. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. You don't want to get to the end of your life and realize you didn't live by your values. Therapy can help you figure out what's important to you so you can follow a path that feels right. BetterHelp's online therapy matches you with a licensed therapist who can help you move forward with confidence and excitement. Here's what I love about BetterHelp. It is a toe into the water of therapy. It gets you involved in a way that maybe might be scary to you. You might not want to leave the house. You can do it all online. BetterHelp is totally online. It's convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Also, that's the reason it costs a little bit less. You're not paying for the upkeep of the waiting room, the magazines that are sitting there, the secretary, all that stuff. You're getting straight to the therapist. If that means doing therapy on the go, that's awesome. If you're tuning in from under the covers on a hard day, that's okay too. BetterHelp is here to meet you wherever you are. Just fill out a quick questionnaire to get matched with a therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for free. No questions asked. That's a huge part of it too. You might get someone you go, not the right fit. We can switch it up right away. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JTrain today to get 10% off your first month. That's real money. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JTrain. Okay, so let's get to the emails. You ready, Django?
I think I'm ready.
I mean, when that movie came out, were you just like, what? Like I can't get off of it?
Well, I mean, what was great about it, what was really awesome about it is it came out in December 2012, and I remember that date because up until that point in my life, no one had ever known how to pronounce or spell my name. Then after that point in my life, everyone knows how to pronounce and spell my name.
Right.
So that's been a huge benefit, and the only drawback is constantly being thought of as a fraud by people online.
I don't know if that seems even to me, but it
doesn't happen as often. But I do have like people in like YouTube comments that you're like, oh, he fucking made up his name. What a piece of shit! Like, what the hell are you talking?
In what world? Again, the only world I can imagine is this like person who's like uber political in the most awful way and is like a total racist asshole, and then you go, oh, this is a nice guy. This isn't like an act at all.
We've all become very paranoid in the last few years, I think.
Right. It is so, it hits on a paranoia button in my brain that I don't like.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's crazy.
I don't like who I've become in the last 5 years. I really, really missed 2018 Django.
Right.
That guy was chill, man.
Well, listen, 2023 Django is going to weigh in on these emails with a little 2018, a little touch of 2018.
That's the guy on this shoulder, and then 2028 is on this shoulder.
Are you in a relationship?
No.
Are you? Which way do you sway? What's your
on the prowl, on the hinge, women?
Yeah. Okay, good for you.
Got a date tonight. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
How'd you meet?
Hinge.
So Hinge is the first date.
First date. Yep.
Okay, where are you gonna go?
Lot of texting.
Good banter.
Good banter. Yeah.
Love it.
Love the good banter. Not forced. Very, very natural. I have high hopes.
Oh, good.
We're gonna go to some bar in Bed-Stuy.
Love it.
I'm gonna have to bike over there in 90-degree heat and show up like this, like, oh, no, the movie came out, but then I was,
You have to explain the name. Yeah. You gotta do this whole conversation. That's gonna be you gotta do this whole conversation every fucking day.
It's fine because it's a conversation I've gotten very good at.
Yeah, you did ease my stress right away.
Good.
Wedding etiquette question: where does +1 end and established couple begin? And can I ask if my boyfriend can come? Okay, wedding questions always come in here. It's the age group that listens to this show. It's also a area of discomfort of like, what? I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be that guy at a wedding. Jared, esteemed guest, it's wedding season. I have a wedding boyfriend dilemma. Is there a polite way to ask a couple if your boyfriend can come to their wedding? To give some background on the situation, my friends are getting married in Italy later this summer. Because of this, STDs, save the dates. And
hold on.
So
let's fix that.
Right, let's
society.
Call it,
Can we?
We're gonna go with that, save the dates.
Yeah.
Just because STI is like
save the invitation. Yeah.
Right. Save the dates. STDs. I wrote STDs and invites were sent pretty early. When these were sent out December, I was single.
I gave STDs to all my friends. All right. Sorry, go on.
Right. It is. Wait, what? Save the dates.
Yeah. What's in your head, man?
Listen, STD isn't what we use anymore. It's just sitting there. It's an acronym up for grabs. No, right. It isn't up for grabs. Yeah. I was single but entered a relationship in January. This relationship has moved pretty quickly, and I could confidently call it a serious relationship at this point. All friends in the group who were in relationships at the time of invites sent were invited as a couple, including one friend who got into a relationship on October 3 months before me. Okay, so this is important information. This isn't just, can my boyfriend come to the wedding? There is a specific situation. Because of the distance, everyone in the friend group is making the wedding part of a larger European vacation, i.e. arriving earlier or staying later, doing a European adventure. All of the couples have planned for a romantic couples vacation, while the two single girlfriends have planned for a wild girls adventure to Ibiza to do, and she puts in quotes, single girl things. That is very female to me.
Yeah.
Like men are never like, this is very hoe phase to me. You never hear of a guy in a hoe phase. Like, I
mean, I feel like people you and I know probably don't go to Ibiza.
Right, like Ibiza fans, yeah.
I'm not really into $26 cocktails, but I'm sure.
But I do understand the idea of like, okay, we're going to the wedding. We're the single girls.
Sure.
We're doing Ibiza.
100%.
We are THing that name. We are going to get into it. We're going to put on our short shorts and our crop tops, and we're going to have a time. I'd really like to ask if my boyfriend can come. But from what I've heard, it's considered a massive faux pas to ask for this kind of thing. At the same time, a trip to Italy is a massive distance. If this were a local wedding, I'd have no problem attending solo. But this does feel a bit different. Additionally, every bit of advice out there is about how it is a faux pas to ask for generic +1s, but this is my boyfriend. I'm not asking to bring a random date and wouldn't think to even do so if I weren't confident this was serious. However, we're not married, engaged, or living together yet. So it doesn't fall within the realm of must be invited to the wedding. The couple has met my boyfriend. That's important.
Yep.
And they like him.
Good.
And I was sort of hoping they'd proactively offer an invite, but that has not happened. They have their RSVP deadline listed as 6/1, so we're past the point.
Fuck.
Sorry. And I don't think the water's under the bridge yet. Okay.
These people have all died in a boat crash.
Right, they all got STDs now, and I'm wondering if there's any polite way to ask for this. If they say no hard feelings. But this is sort of a weird spot to be in. What are your thoughts? Thanks. Is boyfriend different than +1? Django Gold, what do you think of this?
I think it's a tricky situation, but it can't hurt to ask as long as you're like polite about it,
right?
And don't get offended if they say no,
right?
I think it can't hurt to make a very polite invitation, but you have to understand that you missed the cutoff and.
Right. I think it's there's a couple things to do here. I agree with you. When you present this, I don't think, first of all, I'm not one of those people that's like, you can't talk to the bride and groom for a year leading into the wedding. And it's like, no, they're human beings.
That's some weird Victorian superstition.
Right. And also, like, these are your friends. These are your friends that you're friendly enough to go to Italy for.
100%.
Like, these are not, again, wedding in Connecticut from New York. You're going to a wedding of someone that you go, maybe I won't know them 5 years from now. Wedding to someone who is going to be in Italy, I'm going to assume you're going to know them 5 years from now. These are good friends. These 100%. Are close friends. Yeah. Someone that you're willing to spend at a minimum $2,500 a person for. Yeah. So let's keep that in mind. The depth of friendship actually matters here. I do agree with what you said. Let's get out in front. I think the best way to talk to someone, you go to your closest friend in the couple, the male, female, whatever the dynamic is.
Sure. If
you're friends with her, you just go, I think you have to start with, I have a very uncomfortable conversation to have with you.
Ooh, that's good, because then it's not. It proves not to be as serious as I had sex with your fiance.
Exactly.
It's less than that. Like, oh sure.
Right.
Toby can come. Yeah.
Right. Come, and now you can have sex with my fiance. Like they'll be so relieved. So, but even before that, I'm already ahead of myself. I've buried the lead. Yeah. You got to go to your boyfriend and be like, would you want to do the couple's trip? You have to make sure they want to do the trip, because I think you're in for this wedding is to say, hey, I'm planning a trip with this guy that I've gotten very serious with. If he can make it to the wedding, if you have some cancellations last second, can he be the first off the bench?
Sure.
So he's already going to be there. But if not, I am not offended at all. We've already planned. Make it so their no isn't, well, now we got to figure out what to do with my boyfriend.
Sure.
We've already planned. So it starts, there's a PEMDAS here, right?
Yeah.
So it goes, does the boyfriend want to come with you and do the vacation? Okay. Yeah, I'm in. Okay, right. Now I need to go to the couple. I'm letting you guys know I'm doing a trip with him leading into this vacation. He's either going to go home early.
So wait, so you're proposing, say, just coincidence, not coincidence, but you're saying, but we're going, me and Josh are going no matter what.
Right.
If we can be included in the wedding, great. But either way, we're gonna be there.
Right.
Like it.
Because then it's like, listen, because I can't go. Listen, I can't do the single girls trip in Ibiza. I can't really attach myself to the couples trip. I do want to make this a worthwhile experience.
100%. Yeah. Right.
I want to make your wedding a part of like this bigger, grander trip. Would you mind if, and then now you're working with me. And I just want to get up front. If he can come, he can. If not, we're going to set his flight to go home right before he leaves. Like the day before.
Yeah.
I think they're going to say to you, oh, listen, we get dropout. They're going to have dropouts.
Yeah, and also like an extra plate at a wedding, even if it is in Italy, is like what, $200?
Right. And even like, I don't like putting the number on it because, listen, $200 to them might be, these become emotional.
If they're doing it in Italy, that $200 is on the table, I think.
It is on the table. I agree with you, but I think when you make that assumption for someone, they get immediately angry.
Sure.
They're well, you're not going to tell me how to spend my $200. It could be $1. They don't care.
Yeah.
I just think let's get the boyfriend involved. Does he want to be a part of this couple's trip? Because she's just kind of assuming. Then you go to them and you go, hey, listen, I have an uncomfortable conversation for you. Oh my God, what? Are you okay? Everything's fine. My boyfriend is going to
My boyfriend is dying, and he had one final wish in his life.
To be at the wedding.
To see the sunset in Italy at wherever your wedding is.
Right, exactly. Well, then they go, oh my God, what is it? Well, I'd like to bring my boyfriend on this trip and make it around your wedding. If there's a dropout or anything, and I totally understand why this is impossible, but we're pretty serious now and I'd like to bring him along. I don't think it's so crazy.
No.
Again, it's not Connecticut. This is one of those emails, the details matter. The nuance matters.
Would you do this via email, in person, text? How would you ask?
In person, I would want it more than anything, but in person might put them on the
That's
spot.
That's the only issue. I think email might be a little safer.
A text, I think, is in between. Text? I think a text being like, hey, kind of uncomfortable, wanted to get your thoughts.
Sure. a few things, ... 10-minute break, then.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com.
I hope things worked out for her.
I think it's going to be okay. I think, honestly, like, even though we're past the RSVP date, they're going to get dropouts that they can't believe. An Italian wedding, like people might, but brother's getting married in St. Louis. There's going to be someone the day before that's like, I can't go to St. Louis.
Yeah.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Django Gold.
Are you the best man?
And the wedding?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. That hasn't really been discussed.
you guys should nail that down.
Right. We should probably know. I think Innis, he doesn't want a bachelor party.
Running,
it's all very like, I'm kind of letting them do their own thing. I think of this as like next on the list. They just tasted the food and shit.
Who's your top competition for best man?
I don't think there is one. I think I'm the guy.
You're steamrolling. Okay, good.
I don't think I got anyone to worry about.
Man, nothing better than a comedian giving a speech at a wedding. Fucking. It is like watching Mickey Mantle in his prime.
Well, that's kind of on my mind too. Like, there's a lot of pressure too.
Are you kidding? You do this for a living.
I know.
It's you, not versus, but amidst people giving speeches who like are terrified of public speaking, and you come out there, 1,000, 2,000, stage times under your belt.
It's even as small as putting the mic up to your face. Like, I was at a wedding and the dad was like,
they don't get the fundamentals of public speaking.
It's a good point.
Get your hands out of your pockets.
Right. Like, you're just standing 100 yards away from a microphone. Sleeping during the summertime is the worst. Your room is too hot. Your pillow's too hot. The sheets are too hot. Everything in your life is wrong. And you feel like you'll never get a good night's sleep again. Thank God for good Brooklyn. I almost pronounced it. Thank God for Brooklinen. I love Brooklinen. They're here to save you from that stifling summer heat with hotel quality luxury bedding at an amazing price. Everybody sleeps differently. Brooklinen knows this and has created sheet sets in the ideal fabrics for every type of sleeper. Whether you want to cool off with their crisp classic percale weave or try their best-selling buttery smooth Luxe Sateen, Brooklinen has you covered. Okay, my bed is right near here. How beautiful does that bed look?
I was about to say, it's gorgeous. I love the cream color sheets.
It's great sheets. They're comfy, cozy. And here's the other thing. Brooklinen's been on this show for years. They've been sponsoring this. Listen, I've been bathing in Brooklinen's money for years now. They are now mom approved. My mom asks about Brooklinen. She loves Brooklinen. And it's not. This isn't like college dorm room sheets. These are real deal, beautiful sheets.
Superman isn't on them.
No. You can rest assured that you're gonna have your in-laws over the house or your mom over the house, and they're not gonna go, oh, my word. No, they're gonna be into it. They're gonna love it.
No more fainting mothers with Brooklyn.
Right? No. And listen, the average person spends a third of their whole life sleeping, so it's important to make sure that your sheets are amazing quality that won't break the bank. So shop in-store or online at brooklinen.com today to give yourself the cooling sleep you deserve this summer. Use promo code JTrain20 for $20 off your online purchase of $100 or more, plus free shipping at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Use promo code JTrain20 for $20 off, plus free shipping. Love that. Here with Django Gold. How to take pressure off of a weekend fling. Have you ever had a weekend fling, Django?
Ooh, good question. A whole weekend?
A whole weekend.
I've had like a night fling. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever had 2 back-to-back nights.
I mean, this one's a JTrain, loyal listener for 5 years, Patreon, and you up with benefits.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you so much.
Brother, we got you.
Yeah, we got to take care of this person. I'm a 27-year-old female living in a small East Coast city. For the last year or so, one of my best friends has been telling me about her friend at work that she thinks is perfect for me. Let's call him John. Joking about how we're quote-unquote soulmates and telling me how sweet, good-looking, and funny he is. However, she hasn't tried to actually set us up as he lives a 4-hour flight away in Colorado.
What?
Coincidentally, it's been my dream to move out to Denver for the last 10 years, but I haven't pulled the trigger due to COVID and job-related timing. Last week, she texted me saying that John is looking for a career change and saw a job posting at my current company and asked if she can give him my number so he could call me and get my opinion on it as an inside scoop. This is a lot going on.
Weekend fling?
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of importance put into this guy and this girl, and then it's like a job call. It's not a relationship call. This is fraught with problems. This is an obstacle course of social stuff going on.
But we have to assume that this guy John has been informed. Oh, this girl is great for you. So the pretext of the call,
right?
I mean, you know where your brain would be. Oh, maybe we could get lunch and talk it out. Maybe, yeah.
That's the whole thing about this is like, you know, you have to remember, and this is something my dad always says, like, if you're feeling it, they're feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
If you felt weird, they felt weird. If you're being told something, they're being told something within 10%. Let's make emotion numbers. You know, like you're within 10%. You know, you've heard soulmate and he's good looking and funny. They're getting the same message too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Within polite deviation.
Yeah,
you know?
they're not some patsy who's like, duh.
Yeah, they don't know nothing.
They've been informed, yeah.
Last week, so the inside scoop, a couple days later, he gave me a call and we ended up talking about the job for about 2 minutes after I told him not to go for it, as the person he would be reporting to is notoriously difficult to work with. And then for the next 2 hours, had an accidental phone date where we talked about everything else in life, including how much I love it out west and how he's also a native New Yorker, but made the move about 5 years ago out there. I could tell from the phone call we definitely had chemistry and a lot in common, but didn't think much of it. The next day he texted me saying, thanks for chatting last night. He had a great time talking, etc. And then if I'm serious about moving to Denver, he would love for me to visit and show me the city from a local's point of view for a weekend. That sounded so crazy to me, and I kind of laughed it off. But after a few more persistent texts, I thought, fuck it. Since I'm only young and hot and free once, I booked a trip a month away to visit since we have a good mutual friend who I trust, and part of me was kind of excited by the idea. Let me start by saying I think this is great.
Yeah.
I think this is
very,
wonderful.
Very romantic.
It's very romantic. It's cool. It's fun. You got the safety of the friend, which is like such an important part of all this. So she writes, I feel like I keep accidentally building up my head. And then what if I get there and we have zero chemistry in person, or it's not as good as my expectations? In my ideal, quote unquote, realistic scenario, I visit the city, meet this guy, and we hit it off right away and have a really amazing weekend. But I can't help but feel my mind start to get ahead of myself when I start daydreaming about a scenario of this perfect weekend where we end up really liking each other, and then me moving out there when my lease ends in a few months and we live happily ever after, which I know is a crazy way to and too intense thing to hope for. I don't think you're crazy at all. How do I stay grounded and maintain a more relaxed mindset? I want to be excited and not cynical, but I feel myself having a hard time striking that balance. It feels like if I get too excited, I will just be disappointed all weekend. But if I go into negative, I won't be giving off the energy I want. Any advice would be great. What do we think? This is an amazing tale.
I say ride the roller coaster, man. Like,
right.
yeah. Sometimes life isn't as amazing as you think it might be, but fuck it, go for it. Like, commit yourself, do it.
Right, they're going. They know they're going. I think like definitely go. I think like this brings a smile to my face. Like this makes me feel good that like what you're going through. Like I've had this. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Sure,
you know, like you've had this, I'm sure, where it's like, oh, they're going to come for a weekend. I don't even know this person. Let's see how it goes. It goes well. It goes bad. Here's what I would do if I were them. Mm-hmm. First of all, stop thinking you're crazy for getting out of for dreaming ahead. That is a totally normal thing to do, to go, what if this happens and then this happens and then we're living happy ever and I'm living in Denver like I never thought I would.
Yeah, well, you can't be like, no, stay realistic. Love does not exist. Right. Just keep doing your job you don't like.
Right, the alternative is crazy.
It's stupid, yeah.
Is way crazier than going.
Yeah. Gotta go.
So you need to have the friend involved. That's, I think, the key to
stay with the friend, correct?
Stay with the friend.
Right.
You got to or plan to stay with the friend. I think
if anything goes further, stay with the guy.
Right. And I think like, the guy, you can stay at the guys. I don't, do whatever you want, but I would want to feel safe. I would want to go to the friends, get the friend involved in the planning process. Mm-hmm. Hey, I have this thing planned. You've been telling me about this guy for years. I'm coming. We talked on the phone. It was a great conversation. Then here's what you do. Make an itinerary. I think an itinerary will help this with the guy.
Sure.
Hey, let's plan what we're going to do, because then you can get excited for the events and stay away from your brain drifting off into, well, what will happen because I don't know where we're even going. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Here's what I would say. I would say plan events for like the first day.
Okay.
Because there is a possibility that you don't hit it off. And that's like, okay, we're going to the zoo tomorrow, huh? Yay.
Right.
It might be better to leave things a little more open. So
interesting.
So you have like a ripcord in case it doesn't sound like this is going to happen, but in case things don't go great.
So I agree with you. To add on to that, let's plan events for the first day. plan events with your friend for the first half of the second day.
That's good too.
So now you have we can take a break. You go to your side of the ring, I'll go to my side of the ring, take a breather.
Yeah.
That's like these weekends.
Spit the blood in the pail.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes these weekends need no breather. That's fine. Let's plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is this first day is just garbage. It doesn't work out. You're not on the same page. And then the next day you go to breakfast with your friend, you hash it out with them, and you guys come up with a great text to avoid this person for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And plan to stay with your friend. You're not staying with this guy. Hey, and get out in front. Hey, man, I'm excited to come. Let them know you're excited. I'm going to stay with my friend. Let's plan what dinner is that night. Let's plan what's going to happen that night. And then and then Saturday, I already have breakfast planned with my friend.
Yeah.
So get out in front of it.
Yeah.
So now he will help you get excited, because now in the perfect world, I can't promise this will happen, but he goes, okay, Friday night, we're going to go to this restaurant. We're going to be in this area. There's cool bars nearby. Got the whole plan. Then you go, wow, I'm so pumped for this plan.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, a woman loves a guy who can plan.
Oh,
I mean, I love a guy who can plan. There's nothing better than losing your agency and just letting someone, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. Like, that's my idea of heaven.
Oh my God. One of my good friends, he's one of the best planners in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, you keep up that relationship because they're such a great planner.
Trust your life to him.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com, JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Django Gold.
Here's a question. Have you ever had this? So the situation she's afraid of is all this hype and expectation goes into it, and then it falls a little flat. Have you ever had that happen to you, where you're going into something?
I have had that happen, and you get through it.
Yeah.
You're a human being. You're polite.
Yeah.
Both parties, I think, go, yeah, we're going to be fine. We'll figure it out. We'll get to the next meal. And then you get to the next meal, and then you get out of there, and you're nice. I don't think, like, this idea of, like, how do I get out of a date where, it's going badly? It's like, because you're a human being, there's Darwinism. You're going to have your drink and then be nice and go.
You've never done, like, the cartoon thing where it's like, I'm getting a call from my mom.
I've had that happen too.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a human thing.
To you, or you've done?
No,
something?
I've done that.
Okay. That's
as we all have.
Of what you just said, though.
Well,
you just said you were gonna.
That's Darwinism. There's a bit of Darwinism.
I pulled a firearm.
No, I'm human. What am I, a loser? Yeah, you get out of there. No, you answer the phone. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I put on like a full suit.
My
for work.
patent's expiring. Sorry, I got to get back to the lab.
Right. That's also like a polite way. There's like a politeness in lying,
Sure. But you don't think they can see through that?
Well, you hope not. But
how's your mom? What?
Who? Mom's been dead for 30 years.
Oh shit! I mean, she's good. She says,
well,
no
I
second
think,
date.
I guess my point is, like, there's a politeness in lying of, like, you'll get through it. You'll find a way out. That's why, that's like the breakfast the next day. It's built in. My friend and I are having breakfast so that I don't have to worry about being with you. What are we going to do tomorrow morning? Well, I got this breakfast. I can take a breather.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of built in for you to make up the text that's a lie. Mom is in the hospital.
Go to breakfast, disconnect your phone.
Right.
Get on the earliest flight back to your small East Coast city.
We are sponsored, people. Nutrafol. 80 million men and women in the U.S. experience thinning hair. It's totally normal, but nobody really wants to talk about it. Before you jet off to Turkey to get yourself some hair plugs, try Nutrafol. It's the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement that's clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. I have never used Nutrafol. My mom loves it. Again, not to make every ad about my mom. The sex supplements I'm not sending my mom. Good. My mom was like, oh, I want to try Nutrafol. I was like, they sponsor the podcast. I sent it to her.
Yeah.
She loves it. Loves it. Sees a difference. Mom approved.
Man.
It works by going beyond genetics to target the root cause of
thinning.
thinning.
Like you're kind of picking sponsors by what would benefit your mom most, which is very sweet.
Well, it makes Mother's Day a little bit easier.
Oh, absolutely. Here's 80 sets of clean sheets.
Right. It targets the root cause of the thinning: stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, and lifestyle. Since hair thinning is different for men and women, Nutrafol has multiple unique formulas to provide exactly what each person needs based on their biology and age. Nutrafol is physician formulated using natural medical grade ingredients and is trusted by over 3,000 top doctors. In clinical studies, 72% of men saw more scalp coverage and 86% of women saw improved hair growth after just 6 months. I mean, those are just numbers. That's great. And what a good option. Again, they mentioned Turkey. That is a thing that's happening. People are going to Turkey to get
Really?
hair plugs. Like, let's look at the Nutrafol option first.
Yeah.
You can grow thicker.
Turkey's lovely, but
Oh yeah, I don't know what type of year to go, but this is something a little bit, less costly and practical.
Yeah.
You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code FEATHER to save $10 off your first month's subscription. This offer is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time, plus free shipping on every order. Get $10 off. It's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FEATHER. Here with Django Gold. At Django Industries. Go follow, get involved. Need advice on my long-term relationship.
here we go.
Okay, two single
Now
guys
we're talking.
weighing in on a long-term.
I'm sure I'll have a lot to say.
Jared, I feel like you're constantly in my ear between all your podcasts and Patreon, so I figured I'd finally write in for some advice. Back in 2022, October 2022. Okay, so...
Cast your mind back.
Okay.
What was,
My
what was in
boyfriend,
theaters then?
male 29 of 4 years, and I, female 26, broke up. I broke up with him because of issues with his family, us not being on the same timeline for our relationship, and him not being able to see the gray area of any situation. He's an engineer and is very analytical. We were broken up for about 6 weeks. During that time, I was seeing another guy who I really started to have feelings for, but there was some red flags. I cut off communication with the other guy when my boyfriend and I got back together late November 2022. So they break up October 2022. They get back together late November 2022.
There's a 6-week lost weekend between these times, which is with this other guy.
You're
right.
I've been happy being back with my boyfriend, and on paper, he's everything I should want in a partner. Even after long discussions about the things we will need to work on, we are still struggling to find common ground on the issues that caused us to break up in the first place. One major thing, we do not want to settle down in the same area. I want to move back to my hometown. He's not from there, but he does it. In May 2023, I ran into the guy I was seeing while we were broken up when I was out at a bar after a concert. I mean, this is out of Sex and the City.
Yeah, this makes it seem like New York has like 18 people in it.
Right. We ended up talking and both divulged we still have feelings for each other. Nothing happened other than a conversation and a hug. But since then, I have been really questioning my relationship with my boyfriend. I do not want to leave him to be with the other guy. Part of me is just questioning if my boyfriend is the one. I find myself wondering if I should just be single for a while and try to figure out who I am, or if I should talk these feelings out in therapy while continuing to work on things with my boyfriend. Side note, I'm a travel nurse, and my boyfriend and I have been doing semi-long distance for the past 16 months. I'm currently taking a local assignment, so I'll be home more than I have in a while for at least the next 3 months. Thanks for all the advice and laughs. Another travel nurse, Betch. What do you think of this situation?
How old did she say she was? 26?
She's 26, male 29 is the guy, and then there's the other guy.
I hate to weigh in on a complete stranger's life with like.
That's this whole show.
I know. My instincts would say that this is not working out, and you need some time to find yourself and kind of see what else is out there.
Sometimes the answer's in the email. I don't want to break up a relationship.
Yeah.
They seem like nice people that are just disagreeing on something, but the things they disagree with are the same things they were disagreeing about before.
Yeah.
Relationships can. When you lose someone sounds like death, but like when you break up with someone, there's just a hole, and you try to fill it. Most times people fill it with the same hole, the same person that was filling it before.
Yeah.
It's just an easy option. I'm not saying they got back together because it was easy, but I am. No,
of course.
If nothing got fixed, then you guys did nothing. You just took a break.
Yeah, and if you're willing, if you meet some guy, you say there's red flags with him, but you still have feelings from it. This indicates that you're looking for something and still not finding it.
Right.
You wouldn't be like this smitten with some guy you say there are red flags with. I mean, I guess who knows what a red flag is here, but like.
Well, I think this guy is more representative of, oh my God, I'm thinking of other men. I'm thinking of other people.
That's the issue here.
Right. Like, it's like, and again, they even said, they're like, I'm not going to like get in a relationship with this other guy. Like, I wouldn't encourage that. I do encourage you mentioned talking with your therapist. I think you should talk about your therapist with or without this boyfriend. Like, I think that's probably a smart thing to do. But I would say if you go out and you see someone else and you're basically yearning for what you don't have, and listen, every relationship is going to have things you don't have. There's pros and cons to every relationship. There's things that you're like, I wish we were better there, and I wish we were, we're great over here. So, but the problem is you have the same problems you had before. It's not like you got back together and you're like, we have our issues, but at least we're over the whole where we're going to live in the next chapter of our life part.
That's true. It's this frustration of, going right back to center. Like, you can't evade that with like short-term fixes, like, a break. And, like, these are important issues that need to be either addressed or moved on from vis-a-vis seeing someone else.
What's the longest relationship you've been in?
Let's say 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
What was the issue? Do you remember? Do you know the issue?
Issue is, if someone wants to have kids and someone doesn't want to have kids.
That was, that's as big an issue as where we're going to move.
Yeah.
In a certain sense. And it's like, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
And you go, well, I still don't want to, if you guys got back together and, like, it's not like someone would have to change their mind.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is something that hits home for me and probably for you, for anyone. Like, you always run into these like blocks that are more or less insurmountable without someone ceding real ground. And at age 26, having been in a relationship since you were 22, I feel like you owe it to yourself to check out the market.
4 years,
the
26,
market.
22. Yeah, go.
Has anything ever been? I mean, I don't know. Like, do you really find the love of your life when you're 22? Ever?
I'm 38 sitting right in front of you. No.
Yeah.
I know, but I that's a huge point of this email. It's like, okay. And that's why they're probably holding on to it. They're like, they're a great person. I was 22. I've grown up with them. But it's like, but you've grown up with them, and maybe now you're going, well, I can be on my own and grow, and I got to figure out what I really want, not what we want. I think that's like what that 6 week gap gives you. You're like, oh, I'm living as me, I don't know. This is hard. It's hard to tell you to break up with someone, but it's like you tried.
No,
it didn't work.
Yeah.
And now you're doing the same conversation again.
Man, this is an intense podcast. I thought this would be fun and games. Wedding etiquette.
Listen, we go intense. We go all over the board here, Django.
It feels such a burden on my shoulders to advise it, but you got to dump him now. Dump him now. No.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Django Gold at Django Industries. Shelby, we got time for one or two more? What are we looking at here? 2 more? Baby talk. Dearest Jared, thanks for all the laughs. I'm seeking some advice. I'm at the age/life stage where pregnancies and babies are in full swing. Okay, who wanted to have the baby? Who didn't?
The other person wanted the baby. I did not.
And you don't want to have kids?
I am very... I definitely don't want them now. I'd say it's unlikely I want them in the future, but I've gotten to this point where I'm slightly more open to it happening in like an abstract sense. But I see a child in the street, I'm like, ugh.
How old are you?
38.
38. So, so we're the same age.
Yeah.
I understand this idea. It's funny in between the lines of what you just said. It's like maybe I meet someone where like this connection makes sense for a kid.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I think that's like that's a perspective that someone will go, well, people get mad at. Mm-hmm. They go, well, what do you mean? Like, oh, this person wasn't good. It's not a good enough, bad enough thing. It's just this connection didn't lead me towards kids. That can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. I see the theoretical possibility of someone being so great and so amazing that they changed my mind on it. But it's just really like, I don't know. To be quite frank, it's like a very scary notion to me that I don't like. It fills me with dread.
Right.
So like it's really hard to imagine this like perfect woman like who can erase all this fear and insecurity I have about it.
Well, then you go, who wants to be like, yeah, this is my dad. He had dread before I, like,
well, you don't tell
like,
a kid that.
Well, I'm saying
you're the best thing that ever happened to me. I was committed to it from the go. Yeah.
I'm at the age life stage where pregnancies and babies are in full swing. My husband and I are pretty set on not having children. We want to spend our time and money on other things. We've rehearsed our answers for when we inevitably get asked about having kids, and we can easily acknowledge that our answers are probably unsatisfying for a lot of people. We're becoming more comfortable with that reality and like to think that as long as we remain honest and vulnerable in these conversations, it shouldn't negatively impact our relationships with friends and family. We know how to be honest without offending them or coming across as sanctimonious or judgmental or of their personal choices and desires. One thing we haven't been able to figure out yet is how to handle the delicate balance of showing genuine interest in and support for our friends and family on their pregnancy and parenthood journeys, but also not wanting to be subjected to constant, unrelenting pregnancy and parenting talk. There are lots of exciting things during this life stage, but not everything about being pregnant or having kids makes for interesting conversation. Also, there's more to life and to conversations and to their identities as humans than just being parents or being pregnant. Do we just have to go along with these conversations? Because if we don't, we'll become isolated from them. How can we steer conversations to other topics without coming off as dicks? Thanks, Carefree Child Free. What do you think?
Certainly a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
Basically,
you're 38. You have friends. That are
all my normal friends have kids.
Right. Same.
All my comedian friends do not. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's just kind of. I mean, the way to steer the conversation is to bring up new topics, but you have to accept that. Yeah, like people are going to want to talk about this huge thing in their life that like fills them with love and curiosity.
I have very close friends that are going to go dinks, dual income, no kids. They're like.
Dinks, I like that.
Yeah. It was a new thing to me.
We're replacing a lot of
STDs,
formerly,
save the dates.
Right.
So this couple I'm very close with. They are very good about. I do understand the beginning of their email is kind of on the topic of like saying I'm not having kids to a lot of people means you fucked up by having kids, which sucks. But but then they move on to their friends and they're like, I kind of want to have other conversations. Here's what they have to admit. You might lose some of your friends. You might lose them as far as like weekly hangouts. You might see them once a year.
Yeah, that's gone.
Right. And they're going to make new friends that they can connect with about parenting shit. And some of their time is going to get divided that way. You have to be okay with, hey, listen, we're going to drift apart. Yeah. And that's just, that's the sad answer to this is like, some of these people are not going to be able to talk about anything else but their kids. And you're going to go, ugh, and you're going to avoid them just naturally. That's okay. I will say to these people, here's the move. Let's create events that get you away from kids. Hey, get the sitter. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you create events, like I'm going to Stanford this week. I have a lot of friends in the area that like, recent parents.
Sure.
And I invited them out. I said, no problem if you don't want to come. Would love to have you. Mm-hmm. They're like, we're in. We're Saturday night, early show, Saturday night, late show. They're all choosing their shows.
Yeah.
They're going to come for an adult night. If one of them came to me and was just like, and the kid, and I'd be like, we probably wouldn't connect as much as we used to.
You think having an adult night will stop them from talking about their kids nonstop?
I think the people who don't have to talk about their kids all the time will make themselves a parent.
Yeah.
And the people who do, you'll start to hang out with less.
Yes.
And you'll realize which couples are the ones that you want to hang like. Listen,
gotta start weeding it out.
You're gonna weed it out. You're gonna. I just went down to the Jersey Shore. I have friends that live nearby. Mm-hmm. I went to they were like, come over. We'll go to their house. And then they're like, we're gonna go out for dinner. And they're like, we're bringing the kids. I was like, great. Mm-hmm. The kids were great. I didn't stop what I talked about. No. I didn't say. I was interested in the kids. Like, what do they do all day?
Yeah.
I do have those questions.
what do they eat?
Right. What do they? I did. I go, what do they eat? They go, chicken fingers, pizza.
That's fascinating.
Right. But then we all talked, and it was a nice night. And their kids being there didn't like make me. I'm the kidless one in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like, oh, we got to talk about fucking Blue's Clues.
It's good in moderation. You can handle one night every so often. Mm-hmm. I can see the annoyance of you're constantly hanging out with a couple like child this.
Right. Well, I got an email 2 weeks ago. Hey, we're doing a 40th birthday trip. These are all college friends and their spouses.
Yeah.
And I got included on it.
All right.
And I'm like, if I went to the 40th birthday trip with 10 couples, there's going to be a couple that are going to be like, and soccer practice, and I'm going to go,
sure.
And I'm going to make fun of them, and if they get like really offended, I guess we're not talking anymore.
So the kids aren't coming to the 40th birthday?
No, it's just all the parents.
Christ,
and it's like, again, some of these people, what you have to realize is like, some people can't handle it. Like, how many comedians do we come across that can't not talk about comedy?
Zero.
Right.
Wait, can't not?
Well, there's a lot of double negatives.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, some of the people that talk about comedy so much, I'm like, oh, get out of here. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah,
when are we going to bust balls?
How do you feel about like, because we live in like this kind of like, by doing so much comedy, we're kind of like in like this eternal adolescence where we're just like hanging out in bars all the time. Are you positive about that? Or are you starting to get weary of it? How do you feel as you get closer?
I don't like the amount I drink because of
it.
Like, I'd like to drink less.
Yeah.
I'd like to not be around it as much. I do have a moment where I see, like, I grew up in the suburbs. I grew up a very normal childhood, adulthood. You know, my friends are pretty normal. I do have this thing in me where I see like, you know, when I go visit my friends, they got the 2 kids at the table. I'm like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
Yeah. Do you like it in the abstract, or do you like it for yourself?
I think I like it for myself.
Yeah.
But I also know how far away I am from that, sitting right here with you today in a studio apartment with.
I was going to say, you'll have to clear out some of this podcasting equipment. For the crib
will go here. Yeah.
The baby will be the podcast mascot.
Right. He'll just sit here waving. But it's...
Put a Brooklyn in onesie on him or her.
Right. Don't have to read the ad. It's just, you know, I understand, because the problem this person has is like they've made such a part of their life, the whole no kids thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's over. You made the decision. Move on from it. That doesn't have to be every conversation. Yeah. You don't have to go, oh, did you hear about the baby? No. You don't have to like shut your ears off to it.
Just be patient.
And also, it's kind of fun to be the outsider for a conversation. Yeah. Like to ask questions, to go, wait, you do? Like, I like talking to my friends with kids about the kids stuff in adult ways. Mm-hmm. Like, I do like that conversation where I make it fun for me. Yeah. Like, my friend...
You're like a researcher. You're like taking field data back to the other comics. Say, dude, they had to feed them every day. Like, it's unbelievable. They can't even eat a hot dog. They like baby food.
Well, and then I like getting that answer that I don't expect. Like, I remember asking my friends about having a baby, and like I remember one of them, like one of my buddies, he was like, it's really easy. And I was like, what?
Yeah, if you're a shitty dad, it's super easy.
Right. Yeah, I go out to the bars and she does it. No, he was like, it's kind of boring and easy. He's like, the baby kind of sits there. It doesn't say much. It doesn't do much. He's like, 1 is easy. He starts, and he goes, well, when we had the second, now that kind of changed it. And I was like, It was interesting to hear that, just like, you know, like, it's like when that movie This Is 40 came out and you start seeing the jokes about like what it's really like to be a parent. And you go, oh, this isn't all cutesy. This is a daily thing.
Yeah. It turns out the kid takes a lot of work every single day. Yeah.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Shelby, we got time for one more? Let's do one more. Let's do this one. Bumble bio info filtering.
Sounds like a cool new dance move or something.
Right. Bumble bio info filtering. Gonna do the Bumble bio info filtering. Yeah. Jared, longtime listener here. I never heard you address this conundrum, so I thought I'd reach out. You're in the dating world. You're going on a Hinge date tonight.
That's right.
We wish you the best of luck. So what is the deal with people putting their religion on their bio? Does it mean they are religious? And is it the same over all religions? Like, I know that identifying as Jewish does not necessarily reflect a belief system, but when you put it in your bio, it's supposed to be a statement that you are looking for or at least prefer someone of that same faith. Ooh. Trying to navigate this email so it doesn't come off as insensitive, but essentially, I think this is a very good topic. I just want to understand the signaling that goes into putting a religion into your bio. I personally do not wish to date anyone with religious tendencies, so I just swipe left on anyone who writes Catholic, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish. God. They're equal opportunity hater. But sometimes they're very cute guys out there that I have to solely swipe left for their religion of choice. So help me, Jared. Am I right to use this info as a statement of their beliefs and a signal that they actually care about and practice that religion? Many thanks from an atheist ape. I didn't know that was a way to...
Ape? Did she own NFTs or something?
I don't know. So what do you think of this? Well, when you see a religion in the bio, what do you think?
I usually don't read that much into it, but I realize the difference here is that she's a woman, and women on these dating apps have their pick of the litter in a way different way than men do.
Explain that.
Because women on these dating apps are...
And this is when you get alt-right. This is when you become...
it's unbelievable what they get away with these days. You go on the date, they don't even look like their photo. No, but I think it's a well-established fact, or at least a trope, that women have their pick of the litter because there are fewer... there are fewer women on these apps. There's more men, so it's just kind of like a situation where they can afford to be more selective with it. So she has the luxury of being like, nope, Christian, nope.
Well, I will say, and to play devil's advocate, I've seen a Bible verse in someone's profile and been like, not for me.
No, that's true. But it has to be in conjunction with other factors, though.
Right.
I think just like she's saying how, like, oh, if he's cute, maybe I'll give him more of a chance. In that same way, if you saw like the John 3:16 and she was a very attractive woman, you'd be like, all right, man, I can vibe with this.
I think this should tell her. This is what's so difficult for her is we're two straight men sitting here going, yeah, whatever. Like we're not looking that deeply. There's levels to a male swipe that I think are different than a female swipe. She's looking at it being like, will I be taken seriously? Like, because she mentions the Jewish thing where it's like, I only want to date Jewish. Again, I want to date Jewish. Like, I think like the problem, and this is icky to say, is like men are a lot of like, I'd fuck and then we'll see what happens.
That's true.
And that's the hard part because they might put, Jewish and then you swipe right, they swipe right. And you're like, what does this mean? They go, oh, that Jewish thing? Oh, it's just a thing.
I actually don't give a shit. So
right, I don't give a shit when it comes to a blowjob.
Sure.
Well, but my mom might care when I want to get married. Like, So that's the hardest part about this is like, I think for me, when I see woman with religious thing in her bio, and I only see it, honestly, I see the Jewish star sometimes. And as a Jew, I go, okay, I'm not really turned away by that. I know they're looking for Jewish.
Yeah.
Or I see the numbers, the Bible verse, and I go, left swipe out of here.
That is different because that's like a really more intense, like, I know all the lore,
Right, but that's what they're seeing on their end too.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing a guy with Bible verses or Jewish star or whatever it is. And then you go, for the Jewish star guy, you go, and it's funny the way our brain goes. In the same way, hearing your name is Django. My brain goes, when I see Jewish star, I'm like, oh, this person wants to date a Jewish person.
Yes.
When I see Bible verse, I go, oh, they are a God-toting, church-going Sunday person, which isn't fair.
It is fair, though, in a sense, though, because the Jewish star kind of just means, just so you know, I'm Jewish. We tend to date, we tend to be trying to be marrying our own. But the Bible verse is a few levels up from that.
Right. I guess it's not a Torah verse.
Yeah. You're given five little prompts to describe your entire personality, and you're choosing one of them to be like Leviticus 8:16, and the righteous shall cast them out. You're choosing that.
Right.
So that is letting the other person know, I am fucking not a tourist about this. I am serious about this. You better get in line. We're going to mass tomorrow. Like that. I think it does kind of elevate it.
If I was to give this person advice on how to swipe it, I think I think start at attraction.
Well,
I think
she's definitely doing that, as we all do. Let's cut through the bullshit.
Right.
This is all kind of tertiary issues compared to if we find their facial features attractive.
Again, there's a order of operation. Yeah. So started
back at PEMDAS.
It goes attracted. So I would swipe based on attraction. Yeah. Then you go, hey,
that's our advice, listeners.
Right. Get out there and start fucking. No, but then I think if you see a Jewish star, if you see the cross in the bio, if you see the John 3:16, hey, and it's there. So when someone says to me, oh my, like after a show, someone comes to me, I know so much about you because I listen to your podcast, and I'm like, and I always say to them, it's not crazy to know. I put it out there to be heard.
Yeah, of course.
So let's stick to what we know. They have put this out there to be heard. Hey, how important to you is the Jewish star in your bio? What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
I think it's a good question for on the app. If it's on the app, they can't call you crazy for asking about it on the app.
That's true.
And they might say, well, I put in this verse because the verse is important to me, but I'm not really that religious. It's something that I grew up with. Oh, that makes more sense. Or it's, I go to church every Sunday.
It's always going to be the second one, though, for this.
Yeah, fair. But the Jewish one, if I saw a Jewish star, what does the Jewish star mean for you? Well, I'm culturally Jewish. How many times have you heard that in New York, especially? Culturally Jewish, and I don't go to temple, but it's important for me to marry a Jewish guy. Are you Jewish? Now that conversation opens up. So if you start at swipe at looks, because let's just start with, and I know they're trying, this is such a millennial thing. I don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to make a mistake. It's such a millennial thing. I want to look at the menu before we go to the restaurant, but give yourself a chance to have a conversation about it and to go, oh, I think you're right. It's more likely church on Sunday, or I'm looking for a Jewish person to date. You might be surprised.
You might.
JTrain podcast. Go ahead.
Before we move on, I have a question. So you use the apps?
I do.
What would you say your red flags are on these websites?
I guess too serious.
Yeah.
I think and that's such a male thing. Women don't like that response, but they also aren't reading female profiles. When you say I'm looking for a gentleman who will be a good man and can serve me right, you're already not having fun on this app.
Taking up their quills.
Right. Yeah. By candlelight. I don't like when they're you statements to the prompt answers.
What's that mean?
You better be funny.
Oh, Jesus.
That's no vulnerability. I think a dating app profile, when written by someone, should be I let someone else go.
That's nice.
That's not for me.
I like that. That's a very nice subtle observation.
It's taken I'm 38.
Yeah.
I've been on these apps since the beginning of time. It's just something I've noticed that when you see the you ones, and I've been on those dates, the you statements always end up being a bad date.
Interesting.
For me.
I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's something, because what they're doing is saying, come to me, kid.
Yeah.
Perform.
It truly is. There will be no meeting halfway. You must appease me.
Also, you're going to get a better answer from an I statement. I like to go to Dave Matthews Band's concerts. Oh my God, what's the last one you went to? I like going to those too. You're going to get a better conversation started. What was the thing you liked on the girl you're going out with tonight?
She was just funny.
Yeah.
I mean, attraction was first, as we've acknowledged. But she was just funny and down to earth. She wasn't like.
Did you respond to a prompt or a picture?
I think I pussied out and just did the little heart with no text, and then.
But what did you heart? A picture?
Should I check?
Yeah, let's see it.
Shit.
This is live. Here we got the exclusive Django Gold dating on the JTrain podcast.
Let me just go down through all my matches.
I gotta sift through them all.
God, thousands. I liked a picture of her, and she opened. That's very bold of her. I appreciate.
Right. And what did she say to you when you liked the picture?
She just said, "Hello, what's going on in your world?"
Love it.
Sorry to breach your confidence here.
No. Because that's a great opening. Hello, what's happening?
Yep.
To me is
simple,
more than enough and simple.
Yep.
And it kind of was just serving you the pitch, and then it's okay,
see what he does with it.
Right.
Good luck, Django, if that is your real name.
Good luck on your date.
Thanks, man.
Everyone go follow Django at Django Industries. Hilarious comic. This was fantastic. I'm so happy it came on.
Great, man. Thanks for having
He's
me.
got a special that's going to come out in August, so you got to follow him now. We'll have him back on to promote the special. I'm Jared Freed. We're here every Monday. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Back next episode. Boom.